I found out my fiancée cheated and plotted to steal my house, so I let her walk down the aisle, then exposed her during our wedding ceremony. Autumn and I have been together for 4 years. We met through mutual friends at a housewarming party. She's gorgeous, smart, and works in marketing or something like that. I run my own business, nothing fancy, just enough to be comfortable. We got engaged last year and bought a house together 3 months ago, mostly with my savings, but whatever. Our $195,000 wedding was happening in exactly 3 weeks. Yeah, you read that right, $95,000. My parents contributed $120,000, which I plan to pay back eventually. Her folks threw in $15,000, and I'm covering the rest. Autumn wanted the works, a venue at this historic mansion downtown, a 7-tier cake, those fancy ghost chairs, the whole Instagram-worthy setup. I went along with it because I thought she was the one, you know? Anyway, back to the phone. I did what any human with a functioning brain would do. I opened the full message. There it was. 4 months of messages between her and this Elijah dude, her ex from college, who she swore was just a friend. Let me share some highlights that are burned into my brain. Autumn told him she just needed to get through this wedding, so my name would be on the house paperwork. We close on refinancing right after the honeymoon. He asked about the prenup I insisted on, got to protect my business. And she bragged that her lawyer already found loopholes they could exploit. They were literally planning meetups after we're married because, apparently, I work too much and wouldn't notice. She laughed about how I'm paying for this extravagant wedding while she's planning to take me for everything. I sat there reading for almost an hour, going further and further back. I didn't even hear the shower turn off. I nearly jumped out of my skin when Autumn walked in, asking if I'd ordered food yet. Somehow, I managed to play it cool, handed her phone back, and said the app was being glitchy so I'd use my laptop. The rage I felt sitting across from her eating pad thai while she talked about centerpieces, I can't even describe it. 4 years. 4 years of my life with someone who was just waiting to cash in. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there watching her breathe, looking so innocent, thinking about every moment I thought was real. The proposal at the lake where her family has a cabin, house hunting together, planning our future kids' names. The next morning, I called my boy Heath, who works in IT. He came over while Autumn was at brunch with her bridesmaids. He helped me screenshot and back up everything, then showed me how to hide my digital tracks. Heath's face when he read those messages. Dude looked like he wanted to throw up. Here's the financial damage breakdown so far. A $21,000 non-refundable venue deposit, $4,500. $100 for the photographer and videographer, $3,200 for the DJ and lighting, $7,800. $100 on her dress and alterations, $9,000 for the catering deposit, $2,500 for flowers, $1,700 for invitations and other paper goods, plus random deposits for the cake, transportation, hotel rooms, and rehearsal dinner. That's not even counting the $142,000 balance due on the wedding day, the $12,000 honeymoon to Bali, or the house we just bought, where I put down most of the $160,000 down payment. Here's the kicker. I can't just cancel everything because some vendors have clauses where I'd still owe the full amount. We're so close to the date that I'd lose almost everything I've paid, so I've decided on something else, something she'll never see coming. For the past 3 days, I've been playing it completely normal. Yesterday, we spent 7 hours addressing invitation envelopes together. She kept complaining about hand cramps while I sat there, knowing those invites were for a wedding that's never going to happen. I almost started laughing at one point but played it off as remembering a meme. I called my brother Alan last night. He's a paralegal and is helping me figure out the house situation. Thank God we haven't refinanced yet. I've been sorting out which deposits I might be able to claw back with emergency cancellation clauses. The hardest part is sleeping next to her every night, feeling her cuddle up to me, knowing it's all fake. This morning she kissed me goodbye and said, 3 more weeks until I'm Mrs., my last name, with this smile that used to make my heart race. Now it just makes me want to scream, but I'm not confronting her, not yet. Recall that envelope I spoke of, the one destined for the altar? I've begun assembling its contents, each piece a carefully chosen shard of truth. When she unveils it on our wedding day, surrounded by everyone we know, her expression will be nothing short of unforgettable. A moment etched in time. Reddit, I never imagined I'd find myself as the protagonist in a tale like this, caught in a whirlwind of betrayal and retribution. My resolve is unshakable. I'm not seeking counsel on whether to proceed. However, if any of you have endured a similar ordeal or harbor creative suggestions to amplify this act of reckoning, I'm all ears. eager to refine this plan into something even more poignant. The anticipation of her unraveling fuels my determination, and I'm open to ideas that could make this moment resonate even deeper, ensuring she grasps the full weight of her deception. Yes, I've thought about just confronting her now, but after 4 years of lies, she deserves something special. I'll post updates when I can. To answer the top questions, yes, I have proof beyond text messages, and no, I won't be stuck with vendor bills after this is done. My brother and Heath are helping me handle all that. The prenup actually works in my favor if I can prove infidelity, which is why she and her lawyer were looking for loopholes. Reading through them while Autumn was sleeping next to me felt surreal as hell. It's been the longest 2 weeks of my life. Last night, I almost blew everything. We were going through last-minute RSVPs at the kitchen table when Autumn's mom called. Autumn put her on speaker without asking, as usual, and her mom started gushing about how excited she was for her baby girl to finally be set for life. Not happy or in love, literally set for life. Autumn shot her this look and quickly took her off speaker, but not before I heard enough. I had to bite my tongue so hard I tasted blood. For those asking why I didn't just confront her immediately, 2 reasons. 1, revenge is a dish best served in front of 178 witnesses. 2, financially, I needed time to protect myself. The satisfaction of watching her world implode tomorrow is just a bonus. So, here's what's gone down since my last post. I met with my bank privately to make sure she can't access my accounts. The banker's face when I explained the situation, priceless. He helped me set up a completely separate account she knows nothing about. I transferred most of my money there except what we need for regular bills. Heath has been an MVP. He recovered even more messages between Autumn and Elijah, including a voice memo where she straight up says she's never been attracted to me but thinks I'll make a great provider. I've been listening to that on repeat during my commute, just to reinforce why I'm doing this. Alan found a clause in our house paperwork that might save my down payment, since we haven't completed the refinancing. He also discovered that, technically, the prenup works against her if infidelity is proven before marriage, something her genius lawyer apparently missed. The hardest part has been acting normal. Every morning I wake up next to her, feeling like I'm in some twisted Black Mirror episode. She'll do something small, like make my coffee exactly how I like it or rub my shoulders, and for a split second, I forget what she really is. Then it all comes crashing back. Last weekend was our bachelor and bachelorette parties. My boys took me to a cabin by the lake. Heath arranged it so I'd have somewhere to vent without Autumn possibly overhearing. I got absolutely shit-faced and woke up with "dodged a bullet" written on my chest in Sharpie. Thanks, Alan. Meanwhile, Autumn and her bridesmaids went to Vegas. She came back with stories about staying up until 5 a.m. just dancing, but her bridesmaid Lydia's Instagram story showed them at some pool party with a bunch of guys. I added those screenshots to the envelope. Speaking of the envelope, it's ready. 26 pages total, including all their text conversations with the worst parts highlighted, screenshots of her secret Venmo transactions to Elijah, photos. From her Vegas trip, the voice memo transcribed, a letter explaining everything to our guests, and the most satisfying page, proof I've already canceled the honeymoon and gotten a partial refund. She knows nothing about it. Close calls? Plenty. Tuesday night, she borrowed my laptop, and I nearly had a heart attack until I remembered I'd been using incognito mode for all my revenge planning. Yesterday morning, she picked up my phone to take a picture, and I lunged for it like a maniac. I had to play it off as being worried about work stuff when, really, I had screenshots of her texts in my recently deleted folder. The wedding vendors have been surprisingly cool about everything. I told the venue manager a simplified version of what's happening. She's been through similar scenarios before and helped me figure out how to minimize financial damage. The caterer agreed to donate the food to a local shelter after the event ends abruptly. The rehearsal dinner tonight was surreal, standing next to Autumn at the head table while both our families made toasts about our perfect match and bright future. Her dad got emotional talking about giving away his little girl to a man who can provide for her. The irony was so thick I could barely swallow my steak. After dinner, Autumn pulled me into a side room and told me she had a special surprise for our wedding night. She looked me right in the eyes while saying she couldn't wait to start our lives together. Then her phone buzzed and she turned away to check it. The flash of panic on her face when she saw the notification. That's when I knew it was Elijah. I got confirmation from Alan that everything's set for tomorrow. He's positioned friends strategically with phones ready to record. The officiant, my cousin, has been briefed and knows exactly when to hand over the envelope. Autumn's sister Bonnie, who's always been decent to me, will be in the front row. I feel a little bad that she has to see this, but she deserves to know who her sister really is. I just got out of the shower, and Autumn's asleep in our bed, her wedding dress hanging on the closet door. The sight of it makes me sick now. She looks so peaceful, probably dreaming about the beach house my money was supposed to buy her someday. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., that dream ends. Weirdly, even with all the anger, there's this hollow feeling in my chest. 4 years gone, the future I planned, erased. After tomorrow, I'll need to rebuild everything I thought I had, but at least I'll be free of her lies. My tux is pressed, the rings are on my nightstand. I'll be returning hers, keeping mine as a reminder to never be this stupid again. The envelope is in Alan's possession. There's nothing left to do but try to sleep. Not sure how much I'll be on Reddit tomorrow, kind of a busy day, lol. But I'll update once the dust settles. For everyone saying I'll chicken out or that I should be the bigger person, absolutely not happening. She had 4 years of chances, to be honest. Tomorrow, she gets what she deserves. Heath just texted that he's outside with my car keys. I'm crashing at his place tonight, leaving a note saying I'm following the tradition of not seeing the bride before the wedding. Really, I just can't stomach another night pretending. As I'm packing a quick overnight bag, she stirs and mumbles something about loving me. The audacity is almost impressive. 24 hours from now, everything changes for both of us. I woke up at Heath's place, had coffee, and scrolled through all your comments. My phone was blowing up with texts from Autumn asking where I was and if everything was okay. I sent back casual replies about getting ready with the guys and see you at the altar. Each message felt like dropping another breadcrumb leading her to destruction. I got to the venue early, a historic mansion downtown with massive columns and a garden where the ceremony was set up. Everything looked perfect. White chairs with those stupid ribbon things Autumn insisted on. Flowers everywhere, a string quartet warming up. It cost me a fortune, but it was about to be worth every penny. The strangest part? I wasn't nervous. Not even a little, just empty, like watching someone else's life through a window. My groomsmen were all there. Heath looked serious as hell because he knew what was coming. Alan was checking his phone to make sure our special guests were in position. My other buddies were making the usual wedding day jokes. None of them knew except Heath and Alan. Guests started arriving around 2 p.m. I saw Autumn's college friends taking selfies by the rose garden, her boss and coworkers at the bar already, my side of the family looking uncomfortable in their formal wear. Everyone was smiling, excited to witness our special day, if they only knew. 3 p.m. approached. The coordinator was running around with her clipboard, getting everyone seated. That's when I saw Elijah slipping through the side entrance. Heath nodded to confirm he'd spotted him too. Dude actually showed up to watch her marry me while planning to screw me over behind my back. The absolute balls on this guy. Standing at the altar felt like an out-of-body experience. The officiant, my cousin, kept giving me these meaningful looks, patting the envelope in his jacket pocket. The music changed, and the bridesmaids started their walk. Autumn's sister Bonnie looked directly at me as she passed, and for a split second I wondered if Autumn had told her something. Then the bridal march started. Everyone stood, and there she was, beautiful in that $7,000 dress, with the alterations she complained weren't quite right. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless, a fake smile plastered on her face. Her dad looked proud as he walked her down the aisle. If you didn't know better, you'd think this was the happiest day of her life. As she got closer, I could see her scanning my face, probably trying to figure out why I looked so calm. No nerves, no tears of joy, nothing but cold determination. She reached the altar, her dad kissed her cheek and placed her hand in mine. Her fingers were ice cold. My cousin started his speech about love and commitment. I wasn't listening, just watching Autumn's face, memorizing every detail. The way she kept glancing at the third row where Elijah was sitting, the slight tremor in her lower lip when she looked back at me. She knew something was off but couldn't place it. Then came the moment. My cousin said there was something we needed to address before proceeding with the vows. He pulled out the envelope and handed it to Autumn. She looked confused, glancing from me to the envelope, and asked what it was. I just nodded for her to open it. The color drained from her face in real time, like watching a glass of milk slowly spill across a table. She flipped through the pages, hands shaking harder with each one. When she got to the transcribed voice memo, the one where she literally says she's never been attracted to me, her eyes went wide. The guests were getting restless, whispering. Autumn looked up at me, then at Elijah, then back at the pages. That's when I took the microphone. I kept it simple. I told everyone I'd discovered my fiancée had been planning to use me for financial gain with her ex-boyfriend, who was sitting right there with us today. I said I wouldn't be getting married after all, but didn't want all this expensive food and alcohol to go to waste. I told them to enjoy the party, just not the wedding. The silence that followed, holy hell, you could hear people's jaws physically dropping. Autumn started crying, mascara running down her cheeks. She tried to grab my arm, saying it wasn't what it looked like. I stepped back and pointed to page 16 of the printouts, the one where she literally says, verbatim, "Just need to get through this wedding so his name is on the house." Her mom stood up and started shouting about how I was humiliating her daughter. That's when Bonnie, plot twist, stood up and told her mom to sit down and shut up. Turns out, Autumn had tried to borrow money from Bonnie for a surprise wedding gift for me, but Bonnie had suspected something was off. She walked over, took the papers from Autumn's hands, read a few pages, and just shook her head before going back to her seat. I passed the microphone to my cousin, gave a subtle nod to my groomsmen, and strode away from the altar. Pandemonium broke loose in my wake. Autumn's piercing cries of my name echoed through the venue, while Elijah attempted a stealthy exit, weaving through the stunned crowd. Guests whispered in shock, their gasps mingling with the rustle of envelope pages being passed around, each one revealing her betrayal. Stepping outside, I inhaled deeply, the crisp air filling my lungs for the first time in 3 weeks. A fleeting moment of liberation. Alan stood ready with my car, engine humming softly. As I slid into the driver's seat, Autumn's father hurried toward me, his face etched with worry. I braced for his anger, expecting a heated confrontation, but instead, he paused, his eyes searching mine. Quietly, he asked if my accusations held truth. I nodded, and a heavy sigh escaped him. "I'm sorry," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, carrying the weight of a father's shattered illusions. No outburst, no accusations, just the quiet resignation of a man grappling with the painful reality that his daughter was not the person he believed her to be. I watched him turn away, his shoulders slumped, as I closed the car door, the sound muffling the chaos behind me. The aftermath has been messy. My phone blew up for 48 hours straight. I blocked Autumn everywhere, but she keeps creating new accounts to message me. Her latest tactic is threatening to tell everyone what I did to her if I don't talk to her. Like I already told everyone what you did to me. Some highlights from the fallout. Heath sent me videos of guest reactions. Pure gold. The venue manager said it was the most dramatic thing she'd seen in 15 years. Elijah apparently got cornered by Autumn in the parking lot. They had a screaming match where she accused him of setting her up. I found out later from Bonnie that Elijah had been playing Autumn too. He's actually dating someone named Lydia. Yes, the same Lydia who was one of her bridesmaids. The plot thickens. About 60% of the guests stayed and actually partied. Free booze is free booze. Autumn's mom has been telling people I faked everything because I got cold feet. Several mutual friends have reached out to say they always thought something was off about our relationship. As for me, I'm staying at Heath's for now. I'm meeting with lawyers about the house situation next week. I lost about $135,000 in non-refundable deposits, but considering I was about to lose a lot more, I'm counting it as a win. The hardest part is the quiet moments, realizing 4 years of my life were a lie, wondering what was real and what wasn't. But then I remember her face when she opened that envelope, and I know I made the right call.